Hey everybody, it's Leroy from Leroy Gaming here with another video for Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. Today we have a companion build for Lann. This is a character you get right at the beginning of the game. This is a thematic build. I call it Lann the Hun. So it's a horse archer build. Now, I'm trying something a little different with this video format. As with all my videos, you're going to find extensive timestamps in the description below because we're going to go really in-depth into the video. But you're going to notice at the beginning of each of the major sections, I'm also going to throw up a spreadsheet. So if you just want to get a quick snapshot of what all the feats that are chosen for the various areas, you can take a look at that. Now, if you want my more in-depth explanation, you can, of course, either watch the whole video, which would be awesome, or you can jump around to whichever timestamps you are interested in. Content-wise, we're going to go over full level 1 to 20 progression. We're going to go mythic progression, level 1 to 10. We are also going to do the full animal companion levels. And in this case, it's going to be 7 levels of companions. And at the end, we're going to go over some example equipment for the character build. So again, if you guys end up enjoying this content, do make sure to leave comments below. Let me know what you want to see, what classes or characters you want to see builds for next. And as always, if you want to show your support, hit the like, subscribe, smash that notification bell to be notified when new build videos come out. And with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and jump in and take a look at everything that it has to do with Lann the Hun. All right, we're going to begin by looking at the level 1 to 20 progression for Lann the Hun. Now, for starters here, you're going to be seeing the full spreadsheet that shows all the level 1 to 20 progression. So if you're just interested in that and a snapshot, go ahead and take a look at that. You can pause this. But if you're interested in me explaining what each one of the choices is about and just seeing a little bit more in-depth showing, then just keep on watching. Of course, you can use the timestamps to jump to any specific level. Now, I do want to point out, when you retrain Lann, he will always retrain to level 2. You cannot change his level 1, so he'll always be a Zen Archer level 1. So that means he's going to be coming with combat reflexes and point blank shots. Those are going to be automatically his choices for 2 of the feats. Now for level 2, we're going to take another level of Zen Archer. And you're going to see right off the bat at level 2, he had already pre-assigned 1 point into athletics, mobility, perception. We are going to be having 3 points for this build. And so we kind of want to lean into his greatest strengths. So we're going to go into athletics, we're going to be going into mobility and into perception. He's going to be really good at kind of doing all your obstacle running and also finding treasures and so forth. So as we level up here, I'm going to be skipping this screen because none of this will change. We'll always have 3 points, so you're going to be going all the way through 20. You're going to end up with 20 in athletics, ranks, 20 mobility, and 20 perception. Now for your bonus feat, we are going to go ahead and pick a precision shot. And for your way of the bow specialty, it's going to be longbow. You could choose short bow, but the longbows are way more powerful. And especially the compound bows that allow you to add your strength modifier to damage, because he does have 17 strength. But off the bat, that's a nice +3 modifier to damage. You can't go wrong here. At level 3, we're going to add another level of Zen Archer. And for the feat here, we're going to be choosing Deadly Aim. This is the ranged version of power attack. So this is going to be over time a nice big boost to your damage. And you're going to automatically get a point blank master feat. And of course, since we're using a longbow, we want to match this. If for whatever reason you had chosen short bow, you could have chosen that, but definitely stick with longbow. At level 4, we are actually going to swap over to Cavalier. And you're going to get, and I'm going to mispronounce this, I'm sure, Gendarme. I'm sure it's French. And the big reason we're doing this is we want to be able to get him a mount, and we care more about a bonus feat rather than a tactical skill or talent. So this is why we're choosing this. Now at level 4, we're going to start buffing his stats, and don't mind the recommendations for Cavalier. We are going with Wisdom. Wisdom is going to be modifying your, not only your AC, but also it's going to be utilized instead of dexterity for your 2 hit with your bows. That's a feature of the Zen Archer, so we want to get that wisdom up as high as we can. Now, I also want to point out this is the level where we're going to get Zen Archery, and that's exactly, if you were wondering, how we get to use our wisdom instead of dex for range attack rolls. We are also going to be getting our key pool and start getting our key strike magic, so it allows your unarmed attacks to be treated as magic weapons for the purpose of upcoming damage reduction. That's going to keep progressing to get better and better, and basically you're going to see in a couple arrows and a couple levels at level 5 of Monk, we're going to be making our arrow damage or bow damage be the same as an unarmed damage. So this is why all this synergy is playing together, in case you were wondering. Now for orders, we're going to choose Order of the Sword. We're not getting very many levels in this, so we don't really worry too much about the high level bonuses for this. But it's going to give us a nice little challenge. It's going to increase our attack roll against the enemy that we target. So there are some minor benefits, but this is just kind of a side effect of choosing the class. This is also the level where you get to pick your animal companion, and it's specifically a horse. We're going with the hunt theme, so you're going to be basically a horse archer. So obviously you can choose black or regular. It is completely just looks are the only difference. Other than that, they're statistically identical. And this is the bonus feature that we chose the specific archetype for. So we would get this bonus feat, and we can right off the bat get Boon Companion. That's going to allow our companion pet to become higher level. We are not our pet's not going to be very high. He's going to be level 7 at maximum, which is plenty high enough. He's there to give us mobility, a little extra survivability, and the theme. So this really definitely allows it to go basically 4 levels higher than we would if we did not choose this. At level 5, we're going to choose a second level of Cavalier. For our feat, we're going to get Mounting Combat. And this is important because it's going to basically help your mount survive longer. In this game, when you're being attacked by monsters, like in melee attacks, for example, they're going to target your mount first before they target you. So this gives you extra opportunities to basically protect your mount so it survives longer. Eventually, your mount may die, but don't worry about it. Unlike your character players, every time you rest, they just come back from the dead. So this is just going to increase their survivability, and it's quite helpful. And at this level, you're also going to get your By My Honor. And basically, it lets you pick a special ability that, as long as you maintain a specific alignment, and here, since you're a monk and you have to be lawful, you might as well pick lawful. And you can pick to get a +2 bonus to either Fortitude, Reflex, or Will. Willpower is what helps you, not get mind controlled and so forth. So early on, or feared, that's what we're going to pick. All right, and on level 6, we're going to pick our third and final level of Cavalier. Now be careful, don't fall for the trap of picking up Clustered Shot or Snapshot here. They're going to be both highly recommended, but you're going to get them for free and as a bonus feat later on. So just hold off for this right off the bat. What you want is Indomitable Mount. So pick this one up. This is the second defensive ability for your mount. And now you're going to use your own mobility check to help your mounts basically survive when they fail a saving throw. At level 7, we're back to the monk, the Zen Archer monk. And at this level for the feat, we're going to get skill focus, mobility. This is important because, again, we just got 2 different feats that are going to help protect our mounts. And that's all reliant on us rolling really high on our mobility checks. So this is going to help facilitate that. Now for our first key power, we're going to get Bark Skin. This is going to give you additional natural armor bonus, enhancement, natural armor class bonus here. So it's a nice little defensive buff, and it lasts a long time, so it is helpful. And then at level 8, we're going to pick up another level of Zen Archer. No special feats or anything, but we do unlock key arrows, which is huge. And so this is starting this and moving on. Our arrows always deal your unarmed damage with the arrows from your bow. So it gives you an example. Medium Zen Archer short bow normally deals 1d6 damage using ability. Arrows deal 1d8 damage. What's also important, as you level up, this will increase. And let's say you cast Enlarged Person on yourself or something of the equivalent. You become a larger size. This will also, of course, increase the damage you do with your unarmed strikes, and that will scale up your bow damage as well. So that's a nice boost for this level. Now, stat-wise, we are continuing to pump Wisdom. At level 9, we are picking up yet another level of Zen Archer. Now again, with your main feat, be very careful. Don't pick up any of these top 3, even though it says thumbs up, because you're going to be able to get them with your bonus archery feats. I know you have to wait a little longer, but for now, if you want to min-max, what we're going to want to do is we're going to go and pick up Iron Will. And Iron Will is going to, again, increase our will saving throw. So this is going to help us make sure that we don't get feared, don't get mind controlled, etc. So very important stat. Now for key powers, none of these are really going to be too fitting to our build, but it can get Scorching Ray in case you need some ranged fire damage against some enemy that maybe has weakness to fire. So this is just kind of a filler, but that's what we're going to choose. And for the bonus feat at this level, we're going to go ahead and pick up Improved Precise Shot. At level 10, we're going to get another level of Zen Archer, and you'll now notice that your unarmed attacks, which means your bow attacks, act as cold iron and silver. So this is even if you don't have a cold iron or silver weapon, although by this level you should definitely have some +1, +2 weapons easily to be the equivalent of this or higher. All right, we're at level 11, and we're putting in another level of Zen Archer. Now for the feat here, I like getting Improved Iron Will. Some people, especially if playing turn-based, you may want to pick up Improved Initiative to kind of get the jump on enemies a little quicker. But in particular here, I like to get that extra will save going so that minimize the chance that things take you out of action, because you want to be pumping out that DPS as fast and as heavy as you can. For your key power, we're going to get Restoration, so this is kind of nice if you get kind of debuffed by enemies, which is very common in this game. Losing levels, losing ability scores happens a lot more than I thought it would. So this is a nice way to kind of save yourself in the middle of a dungeon or a run. All right, level 12, when we get another level of Zen Archer, and I do want to point out we get Snapshot for free. So yes, we waited a little longer to get it, but we didn't waste the feat on it. We got it for free. With our stat allocation, we continued to pump Wisdom. At level 13, we pick up another level of Zen Archer, and now our key strikes, our unarmed attacks and arrows are now considered lawful for the purpose of overcoming damage reduction. Now for our feat at this level, we're going to go ahead and get Lightning Reflexes. So again, this reflex saving throw is especially going to help us dodging AoE fireballs and AoE attacks that enemies like to cast on us. And this is where we cash in that bonus feat of Clustered Shot. Level 14, another level of Zen Archer, and nothing too specific happens here. So just a normal skill progression. At level 15, we're going to do another level of Zen Archer. And for a feat, we're actually going to get Critical Focus. You may have your eye drift to improve critical, but again, just as a reminder here, we're about to get that rather shortly as a bonus feat. So we want to save that. So instead, we're going to do Critical Focus. That's going to make it so you're more likely to get critical hits. And for your key power at this level, you're going to get Diamond Body. This is passive, going to make you immune to all poisons, which can definitely come in handy. Level 16, we have another level of Zen Archer, and we're going to be pumping Wisdom another point. And then other than that, just going to be a normal skill progression. All right, level 17, we're going to add another level of Zen Archer. We're going to have a couple of fun things to add here. So feat-wise, we are going to get Improved Critical, but not on this screen. You're going to get it on the next screen when we look at bonus feat, so don't accidentally pick that up. Instead, we're going to get Improved Lightning Reflexes. This is going to give us an extra +2 bonus to reflex saving throws. And for the key power, you're going to get Diamond Soul, which is nice. It's going to give you innate spell resistance. So again, focusing on being ranged, but kind of being able to defend against spells, dodging them, resisting them, just various ways of staying alive. And finally, here is the bonus feat. We're going to get Improved Critical. And of course, we're going to pick Longbow since that's what we chose as we leveled up. Now, I do want to point out, I kind of stagnated here on these levels, Lightning Reflexes and Critical Focus. you could, in theory, stack critical focus on the same level that you can improve your, quality of your crits. But I was trying to get a little extra DPS out there between level 15 and level 17. But again, if you want to be synergistic and kind of like a very clean pathway, you could have at level 15 gotten improved lightning reflexes and then stacked the critical focus here at the same time that we got the improved critical strike for the longbows. So just something to point out here. I like staggering this way, but the other way, in case anybody was going to mention in the comments, it's definitely very, very viable. All right, guys, at level 18, we have another level of Zen Archer. Nothing special really happens here, so just the level and a skill progression. Level 19, we're going to get another level of Zen Archer. It's all our unarmed and basically bow attacks are going to be adamantine for the purpose of overcoming damage reduction. We're also going to get our final key power and feat, so this is kind of our last big level. And for this final level, you have a couple options. I put Great Fortitude. You kind of, for those Fortitude save throws when they do come up, you could, use Hammer the Gap to kind of squeeze out a little bit of extra damage. It's not that much, but because you have so many attacks at this level, it could add up a little bit. But again, I'm going for kind of surviving those situational saving throws as being a little bit more important. At this point, your DPS is not going to be lacking. That's why I chose this. But again, feel free to pick something else if you find this is overkill. Now for the final key power, most of these are not really going to help you out for the build we have. Wholeness of Body is basically just an extra heal. So you're unlikely to use this for this purpose, since you're using most of your key powers for the extra attacks. But in a real kind of a desperate situation, you could, I guess, heal through this. But we're just picking it as a filler. And then finally at level 20, we're picking the 17th level of Zen Archer. It's going to be a little anticlimactic because, again, we pick up some of those other, the other class. So this isn't going to do very much other than the stat point, but we will get that. And of course, for the stat point, we're going to pump Wisdom one more time. All right, next we're going to look at the Mythic progression. As you see here, here's the little spreadsheet that I have popped up on the screen. So if you're just curious to get that nice and quick and out of the way, feel free to pause it here and jot those down. And then if you want to go above and beyond and hear some of my feedback and the choices, go ahead and keep on watching or jump to your favorite timestamp. So at Mythic Level 1, we're going to get Cleaving Shot, and this is going to be a gigantic increase to your DPS. You're going to be killing stuff at range constantly, and proccing this AoE extra damage is going to be gigantic. So really, really big winner of a power right off the bat. Mythic Level 2, we're going to pick the Mythic Feat of Deadly Aim Mythic. So again, this is like power attack, but for range attacks. And it's just going to scale your damage really, really nice as you keep leveling up. Mythic Level 3, we're going to go ahead and pick up Mythical Beast. Now this basically buffs your Mythical Beast. Remember, our companion pet that we're going to be riding, our horse, is only going to be level 7. He's going to actually have decent AC because of the way that the companions work and some of the armor you're going to be getting, etc. And the stacking of natural armor. But this is going to help just a little extra bit. Again, the goal of your pet is to give you extra mobility and most importantly, give you extra survival as well. So this is going to just make him a little bit more effective and functional for longer as well. Now at Mythic Level 4, we're actually going to get Iron Will Mythic, and this is actually very, very influential. Basically lets you roll your will saves twice and keep whatever the highest score is. So this is really going to be a big boost. Again, making sure that you don't get feared or controlled or make it so that you lose control of your character. Mythic Level 5, we're going to get Expose Vulnerability. This is really, really nice. So every third hit, you're going to, towards attacking the same target, you can do an additional 1d6 points of damage per 2 mythic ranks. And it's divine damage, so most enemies do not have resistance against that. So very, very good. Especially it's going to keep scaling really well as you level up. And then at Mythic Level 6, we're going to be doing Point Blank Shot Mythic. So it's going to give you +2 damage to point blank shots and attack. You're going to be doing a lot of point blank mode. You're going to notice there is even like a a passive that you can enable that will force your character to go within the range of point blank shot to get all your bonuses related to it. And sometimes you may also kind of get within almost kind of melee range with the enemies. And because you are going to be able to basically like shoot them if they run away, you're going to get attacks of opportunities with your bow. This is going to be really a nice little combination that's going to come into play consistently. Mythic level 7, we're going to get Distracting Shot. And this is pretty nice too. You're going to be shooting enemies and basically giving them melee or AC penalties versus melee attacks. So your melee fighters that are fighting whatever difficult monster you're shooting down, they're going to all of a sudden become weaker and weaker. Mythic level 8, you're going to get Improved Critical Mythic Longbow. Your critical multiplier is going to increase by 1. So your bows are basically just going to do even more damage when they crit. So this can be a nice boost to your DPS as well. And at Mythic level 9, we're going to go ahead and pick up Ranging Shots. So this is kind of situational. Basically, if you're shooting something and you miss, you're going to continuously get a +1 stacking bonus until you hit. So there are times in the game where you may run into really high level monsters that are really, really hard to hit. And this is where this comes into play. And it's basically an oh shit emergency button. Other abilities, like the bigger they are just going to automatically give you plus attack bonus against real large monsters. That is a decent alternative. If you're going against giant monsters, for example, this is going to consistently give you extra attack power. But you may not need that necessarily. The bigger thing is if you can't hit something at all, no matter by how much, this is something that can make it that you will eventually guarantee to hit it. And remember, every successful hit lessens this bonus by 1. So it's not like the bonus goes away completely. So eventually you get to a point where you're hitting, and then you miss one, it goes -1. But then it goes, or you hit one, it goes -1. But then you miss the next one, it goes back up. And so it'll keep you in a range where you're consistently hitting if you're fighting something very, very difficult. And then finally, in Mythic level 10, we're just choosing Mythic or Weapon Focus Mythic. It's going to double the bonus of your attack rolls from Weapon Focus and or Greater Weapon Focus. We don't get Greater Weapon Focus because we're not a fighter. So this is the choice that's going to consistently have you hit more. In theory, you could choose to get Weapon Specialization Mythic for Longbow instead. This will increase your damage. But again, if you end up missing, this is as good. So again, I chose Weapon Focus Mythic so that you're just hitting as often as possible. You're deadly accurate. But if you find that you're hitting a lot and you want to do extra damage, Weapon Specialization Mythic is a decent alternative. All right, finally, we're going to show you how we're going to level up Lann Dahan's Mythical Companion or Animal Companion at first. And of course, because he's Dahan, we're going to have a horse here. And you can see the little leveling layout here on the screen. So if that's all you want, you can pause it and take a look at that. But if you want to take a look at the progression and some of the explanations, then keep on watching. Now, level 1, we're going to get to pick the class for the mount. And so we're going to pick Daredevil. The main thing here is because we're only getting 7 levels of it, we want to make sure just the stuff we do get is pretty helpful for survival. And Evasion does that pretty darn well. So that's kind of nice and helpful. Combat Mobility helps out here as well. Because you're going to be moving around a lot, you may accidentally proc attacks of opportunity. This is going to help you survive those a little bit better. We're not really caring about the DPS side nearly as much. So again, it's meant to move you around and kind of keep you alive and stay alive as long as it can. Now, skill-wise, it's going to be very similar. So I'm going to show it the first time. And then in the future, I'm going to skip past it. But it's Athletic and Mobility. We're going to pick that for all 7 levels. For the first feat, we're going to get Armor Proficiency Light Barding. So you can equip horse armor as soon as you can. At level 2, we're getting another level of Daredevil, obviously. At level 3, when we level up, we're going to go ahead and same skills. Now for the feat, we're getting Dodge. It just helps with that extra dodge AC that stacks. So that extra little survivability. Now at level 4, the biggest thing we're going to get here is a stat point, and we're going to put in Intelligence. This is going to make it so they're smart enough to get teamwork feats. So that is going to be a key factor for that choice. All right, level 5, and we are going to get another feat here. And so for this feat, we're going to go ahead and get armor proficiency medium barding. That's about as heavy as we're going to go because we do want to keep our dexterity bonus, but we still want to get some nice AC. At level 6, the big thing here is we're getting combat mobility for free as a feat. Other than that, there's no other bonuses. And then level 7, we're going to be getting the final feat here that we're going to pick up, and that is going to be Outflank. And this is good because if there's anybody else in melee nearby, you're going to be able to increase your flanking to hit and damage bonus. It's a nice thing for you to stack on your pets, and as well as a lot of your melee characters. All right, now let's talk about equipment for Lann. And it's going to be, for the most part, pretty straightforward. You're going to want to get the best possible composite longbow. Now, composite longbow is important because the composite part allows you to take your strength modifier and apply it to him. When it comes to kind of bracers, there's not that many that I found that are super useful. Here's one from early in the game that gives me +1 bonus on attack rolls with bows, so that's useful. For rings, you can't go wrong with Rings of Protection. That's going to up your AC. And Merciless Shot is a nice one if you get that. +1 to attack while using point blank shot, which you will be. When it comes to cloaks, just anything with resistance is universally useful. I like this for him, Blood Clarity, because you're going to get a lot of kill shots, and when you do, it'll make you immune to mind-affecting conditions for 3 rounds. So a situation that could be useful. Now, in the main city, once you get into Act 3, you can actually buy these goggles of Malocchio. And unlike the famous quote, "The goggles, they do nothing. Well, yeah, they do everything." They're actually really, really nice. They're going to up your perception check by +10. And this is going to be your guy that has one of your highest, if not your highest, perception checks. And what's nice is whenever you confirm critical hits, it's going to disorientate the target. And they're going to get a -4 penalty to various stats, most importantly to their attack rolls. So this is really, really nice. It's very expensive. I know it's over 30,000 when you buy it. I forget the exact amount, but it's worth every penny. As far as a headband or a headpiece, I recommend just your highest possible plus wisdom item. Remember, wisdom for the Zen Archer is not only going to count for additional AC, but it's also going to be used instead of your strength dex stat for calculating your 2-hit with your bows. So this is by far the best for that. For your amulet, you have a couple options. He's a decent candidate for half of the pair. So you could basically put this on yourself and also on your mount potentially to increase your +2 bonus to attack and AC. Alternatively, because these are really rare and also expensive, you can find one on a quest and then you can buy one from a vendor. I don't know if there's other ways to get the other half of the pair, but that's how I found it. Alternatively, you can just get your best possible amulet of natural armor. These are more common and less expensive. So again, this will give you a +3 natural armor bonus for survival. That's probably the most common. Remember, in order to get all the bonuses from your charisma to apply to AC, etc., you need to make sure you're not wearing armor, so I generally don't wear armor with him. For a belt, there's no one belt that's like perfect from what I found. This one is actually pretty decent because it's going to give you dexterity and constitution, so extra survival. Remember, dexterity does not get applied to your 2-hit because your wisdom is going to be higher. So dex is mainly just extra AC, but you can't go wrong. If you happen to have just like a high strength belt, it's not the end of the world that increases your damage or any singular stat. Now, there's also a relic that you can basically craft as part of the Crusade system, and the Malander's Penance. And so the way I got it created, as you can see here, while wearing this belt, a monk can spend 1 key point to enshroud the target's heart and lungs in a fine veil of emerald. Affected creature becomes more fragile, getting a -2 penalty to AC, and has to pass a Fortitude DC 19 check, or all bludgeoning damage it receives is multiplied by 1.5 until the end of the combat. Now, this is more helpful if other enemies are doing bludgeoning damage, because obviously you're doing arrow damage. Now, what's interesting is you're doing your unarmed damage with your bow. I'm not sure if that counts as bludgeoning damage or if the fact that the actual bow factors in as piercing overcomes that. I'm not 100% sure. So this could be a little bit better if that bludgeoning applies to your arrows. But again, you have to use key points, which I hate using for anything but for getting extra attacks. But I did want to point this out because this is very thematic for a monk. You want to go with that. Otherwise, just go with, a belt that's going to increase your stats. Finally, gloves and boots are optional. I don't have any gloves personally that are great for him. These boots are good. They give you plus 10 bonus to athletic checks and plus 5 to mobility. Expedition boots that are perfect for him since he's going to have high mobility and high athletics. And finally, you can equip him with a pet that gives kind of like this pet owl head chomper you get early on in the game. Plus 2 bonus to perception. That's a nice boost. And don't forget, you're going to find various kind of quivers of arrows. And they can be quite powerful. Like these are like an instant 50 damage that can't miss. So make sure to equip them, and then you can basically put them on your attack bar when you're fighting something really tough. You can bust these out. Right there, back to back, you do 100 damage that can't miss if I were to use these. So again, obviously don't want to use it on trash, but this is pretty good. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful and entertaining. If you did, as always, remember, smack that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell. It helps little channels like mine tremendously. If you want to interact with me, ask me any questions. Don't forget, I do stream on Twitch almost on a daily basis at twitch.tv/LeeroyGamingStream. And you can also find a link to my Discord below if you want to come and join our community. I'm all about looter shooters and RPGs. And my biggest focus right now from the beginning has been this game as well as Outriders. So 2 games that are very interesting and niche-y, but I do love them. And if you enjoy the content I make in this long format, I hope that you join our community. All right, with that being said, guys, you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys in the next video.